Here's the fastest way to know if your training is working. Ignore the mirror, ignore how tired you feel after your workout, and ignore how long your workouts are. Are you getting stronger? If the answer is no, nothing else matters. Now, most people don't like that answer because strength feels too basic, or people think that strength and size are separate things, that getting stronger isn't what makes you bigger. It's about volume, exercise selection, optimal splits, and advanced techniques. And those all have a place, but here's the uncomfortable truth. If none of that is making you stronger, it's not building muscle either. It doesn't matter what volume, frequency, or split you use, or what exercises you're doing. If it's not making you stronger, it's not building muscle. And I learned that the hard way. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on was trusting the mirror. Boy, that was a big mistake. You're looking at it every single day, multiple times a day. And when nothing changes, you just assume something's wrong. But the mirror is terrible feedback because it takes a long time for results to actually accumulate to a point where they can be visible, especially the higher body fat you are. So unless you're absolutely peeled, like shredded, and you gain a couple ounces of muscle, it's not going to be noticeable under any normal amount of body fat. So if you're at a normal body fat, week to week, you're not going to really see any progress. However, strength is not the same. The numbers don't lie. Every 2 to 3 weeks, if you're getting stronger, that means you're building muscle. Even if it's not perceptible in the mirror yet and it's hiding under some body fat, over a long period of time, it's going to build up and eventually you will see it under the body fat. It will start to poke through. The numbers are very concrete. They're either going up or they're not, unlike the mirror. Now, with that said, strength is not the goal. Our objective is not just to get stronger. Our objective is to build muscle, and strength will be the signal that we're doing that effectively. Each set we want to train as hard as we can with as good technique as we can so that we can stimulate the most amount of muscle growth possible. The more muscle growth we stimulate, the stronger we'll be each time we return to the gym. And that strength increase will be our signal that that's what happened. So the goal isn't just to add 5 pounds. You're going to add 5 pounds if your training is effective and you stimulated hypertrophy. So if your strength isn't improving over time, something is missing. Not maybe, not sometimes, always. Now, most people I see in the gym don't track anything. I don't see them tracking their numbers after each set. I don't see them writing in a notebook or on their phone. And I'm not sure if it's just because they're lazy. I don't think they are, because they're at the gym, they're working out. They obviously want to get some kind of result, right? Maybe they avoid it because it removes excuses. When you don't track, you can just tell yourself, I'm probably improving. Oh, I feel stronger today. I probably made some gains. Oh, I look a little bit bigger in the mirror. I think what I'm doing is working. Tracking replaces all of those guesses with actual answers. And the answers are what force decisions. If your numbers aren't moving, then you have to change something. If you've stalled on a lift for 3-4 weeks now, meaning you haven't added at least 1 rep to one of your working sets, then that means something probably isn't working, whether it has to do with your training program itself or one of your recovery variables. Maybe you haven't been sleeping enough. Maybe you haven't been eating enough protein consistently or enough calories. And when you get that feedback after that 3 weeks, then you have to audit all of your variables, and then you can pinpoint which one it is. Maybe I wasn't training hard enough. I didn't stimulate enough hypertrophy. These are your data points that you need to analyze every time you get feedback. And when you get that feedback that something wasn't working, you have to adapt. You have to change it. You have to fix it. For me, the turning point was simple. It was when my bench press stopped moving for at least 2 to 3 weeks. I remember I didn't add a rep. And you could say, well, if you knew that it stalled, that means you were tracking your progress. Yeah, sure, but it wasn't very consistent. I was kind of briefly just adding weight because I was relatively new to the gym, and that's just going to naturally happen. But it was once I stalled for a while that I started to think, hey, I'm putting in the same effort every session, same consistency, and I'm getting the same result. I'm not increasing the weight at all. Like, what's going on here? And, that plateau didn't mean I was weak. It just meant that I wasn't doing something right. Something was missing. Maybe I wasn't eating enough. I wasn't recovering enough. And, no amount of extra exercises or volume or effort was really going to fix that. I had a bottleneck that was blocking me or preventing me from making progress. And for me, what I realized was it was my food. I wasn't eating enough. Once I started eating more, a significant amount more, that's when my strength started to increase. And when your strength improves, your muscle follows every time. It cuts through all the noise. Like, it doesn't care how fancy the program is or how many days you train. If your strength is going up slowly over time, then you're doing something right. If it's not, then you're doing something wrong. Now, that doesn't mean every session is going to be a PR in weight or reps, but it means that the trend matters. How does it look over weeks, months, not just a couple days or a couple sessions? Your program can be very unpretty, like starting strength or one of those kinds of programs where you just do a couple exercises for 3 sets of 5. But I'll tell you what, it's very effective and it does get you strong and jacked, even if it may be missing a few key components, because it focuses on the fundamentals and it gets you tracking right away. Muscles grow when they're forced to adapt, and adaptation only happens when the body is challenged beyond what it's used to. Strength progression is proof that challenge exists. No progression equals no reason to change. That's why this rule never stops working, regardless of whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced lifter. The speed of the progress will change, sure, but the principle of trying to progress and that being the thing that makes you bigger is what matters. The principles stay the same regardless. So if you want clarity in your training, remember this. If you're not getting stronger, nothing else matters. Not your split, your volume, or your exercise variety. Fix your inputs, support recovery, track the numbers. That's when you'll start seeing real and consistent progress.